I've wasted thousands on gear that I didn't actually end up using, or I hated using. It's easy to want more and better gear, but I learned the hard way what is actually useful. Hi, I'm Hugo. I've done photography for soon 9 years, and in this video I'll be sharing the photography gear lessons I've learned from the past 9 years, so you will not waste money buying gear that doesn't really make a difference, or buying gear that you just won't end up using. But before we dive in, if you would like to see all the tools and gear I use currently to make my photographs, then make sure to get my free photography toolkit from the link in the description where I share all of this. Alright, so when I started out photography, I was probably just like you, watching YouTube and trying to figure out what gear to buy. And I wasn't watching enough videos about what to not buy and what is gonna be a waste of money. There was some stuff I heard, but I didn't really internalize the lessons, and then as a result, I did waste thousands. And this is simply because I didn't truly understand. I didn't have the experience. I couldn't say from experience what am I gonna be needing. And I could have used that money for traveling around the world, taking new photos, or investing into my own skill sets and then actually transforming my photographs much faster. So indeed, after watching this entire video, you have learned all the main gear lessons that I've learned in the last 9 years. So let's get into it. The first is about camera bodies. Honestly, this is something that well, I really wish I learned earlier or I understood earlier. I did hear from one lesson, from one YouTube video, that don't invest too much into a camera body. But guess what I did? Yeah, I invested a lot into a camera body. Investing a lot into a camera body necessarily isn't a waste of money, but you likely could spend your money in a better way. See, what I did was I thought that I will just get this cool camera body now, and I will get a nice lens. But not like the best lens, but like a okay lens. And that was a mistake. Because camera body won't make as big of a difference compared to a lens. Think about it. Like if you buy, if you upgrade the camera body, then yeah, the photo quality might be nicer, but it's not gonna completely transform your photos. But then if you do buy a new lens, it can. Because like what I had when I started, I had one lens of 16 to 70 millimeters. But what if I wanted to photograph something at 200 millimeters? Yeah, I wasn't able to do that now because I put that money into the camera body. So make sure that when you are buying a camera body, that it is just enough for you. Like you don't need probably the latest gear. I am currently using the Sony a7 III, and I've been using this for, I think it's soon, 8 years. And I'm not upgraded, and I'm not looking to upgrade. Why? Because I don't need anything better. If I was doing like sports photography, or like super high action, then probably, yeah, I would benefit from a better newer camera with like new autofocus stuff, but I don't do that. I photograph nature, and mostly it's landscapes, still images, like still, scenes, sometimes wildlife. But I don't really need the latest autofocus features. I don't need that. So don't just buy the latest camera because likely you're going to be fine with what you currently have or then with something more affordable that's all. Alright, then next up, filters. Now please hear me out. So most filters is a waste of money. Most filters out there are a waste of money and I will die on this hill. Although this does depend on what kind of photographer you are. If you are anything like me, you want to keep things simple. You don't want that photography becomes really complicated. And in that case, you must be really careful with filters. Because what I did was I bought a filter system to put on the lens. So you like attach it to the lens, then you put filters on top of that, and it was a mess. I hated using it. Every time I despised putting it on because it took forever, and then it wasn't always like working properly. And then I just didn't end up using that much. Like I spent hundreds on that system alone. But then, yeah, I didn't really use it because I didn't like it. This is one of the key lessons I wanted you to take away, is that if you don't have fun using the gear, then you will probably not use it. If it is really complicated for you to use the gear, if there's sort of resistance in using it, you probably won't use it. Now, I want to tell what filters I've actually used and what I haven't used. So one of the first filters I got was a polarizer, and I believe that this is one of the true filters what you are gonna want as a photographer, because this is giving an effect you can't really replicate in post-production. So it is really nice filter to have. But make sure you buy a polarizer you want to use. Really important, because I, again, bought this system of filters, and a polarizer was part of the system. So I had to always put the system onto my camera and attach the polarizer, and that's why I didn't really want to ever use it. And then especially if I had to get into some like weird angle, weird position, difficult position, then I wouldn't want to have the filter system on the camera. What I did many years later was I realized that I haven't actually used this stuff. So then I got a polarizer that I can just very simply like screw to the lens. No filter system required. And as a result, I was using the polarizer so much more, and it actually made a difference to the photos. So again, make sure you get gear and tools that you think you are going to be actually using. ND filters, I think in most cases are a waste of money, because you can very simply just take a couple of different kind of exposures on field, and then attach them together in post-production. And doing this in post-production is really simple. So I bought ND filters, but I didn't use them. Again, they were part of this filter system, and I didn't want to put it onto it. I just simply started to take 2 different exposures or more, and then putting them together in post-production. And it's really simple to do, and that way you can save hundreds. And most importantly, you can keep your photography more simple. Now, if you do want to make long exposure photography, then like some kind of ND filters can be useful. And that's something what I do prefer doing in camera myself. But you can still do some of that in post-production if you so do want to. So out of all the filters I bought in my life, really the only filter I have used is this really simple polarizer that I can just screw to my camera lens. Now, before we get to something else, what I really wish I knew earlier, and this is one of the bigger things that I do regret of gear from the past couple of years. If you are a photographer who has invested time and money into your craft, and you would like to make this your career, but deep down you just know that you don't really know how to do it. But this is something what I do help photographers with. So if you would like some help, then DM me the numbers 1-1 on Instagram at Hughography, and let's see if I can help you too. If you don't have Instagram, then just take a short mentorship assessment from the link in the description to see if my mentorship is a good fit. All right, back to droning. So this drone that I got, it has 2 lenses. It has like a wide angle and then a telephoto. And I thought that it would be really nice to have a telephoto on the drone. And that's why I didn't get like a bit better drone, because I was like, I want to have a telephoto and like have all of this variety. But I've barely ever used the telephoto lens of the drone. And this lesson you can take to even if you don't have a drone. Because if you see other people using certain lenses, that doesn't mean that you are going to be using those lenses. So when you are starting out, especially, don't buy necessarily like all the lenses out there if you really don't have an idea what you are going to want to photograph. If you already do have some gear, then what I would recommend is that you just go to Lightroom or whatever software you're using and see what are the focal lengths that you have photographed at. Because if you see that, okay, well, I'll be shooting mostly at 50mm, but then when I want to go like beyond 70mm, then I've not been able to do that. Then that's a sign for you to get a lens that allows you to go beyond that. That's how I made a calculated decision at one point in my career to get rid of 24-105, which since I've now got back. But like back then I saw, I pretty much never photograph at 50mm. And then I was like, well, I don't need a lens here. Like it's better to have the money invested somewhere else. So before upgrading gear, at least make an analysis on what do you actually need, and then make a calculated decision. And if you don't have gear yet, then test maybe some gear out. Like if your friend has a camera, test it out. Rent a camera, test it out. Or then imagine what kind of photos would you like to take. And then from that, you can get a better idea of what lenses do you actually need. Don't just get all the lenses, because some professionals, like me, have like many lenses. All right, we've got 2 more. And the next one is one about the drone. I thought that I would be using the drone a lot, because it would give me this like new perspective, and I would fly it everywhere and get these cool angles. But I ignored what one of my friends said. He said that, having a drone is cool, but you probably won't use it that much. And I was thinking like, that's not gonna be me. But I got the drone, and soon I realized that that was actually me. Most of my photographs I do take with Sony a7 III, and I don't that often fly my drone. This year, I think I'm now recording this in April. I've flown the drone, I think, one time. One time. And the previous year, not that many times. So the drone can be a great investment. Like, it can be a really nice tool to have, but just do understand that you probably won't be using it as much as you think. So when you're then thinking about how to allocate money, then maybe don't put all of it into the drone, because you will just sometimes be using it. And especially now, like compared to like many years ago, now the drone laws are also more strict. And then when you travel, then you always need to, of course, take these into account as well. Like different countries have different restrictions. To some countries, you can't even take the drone. And like when I was in Japan photographing last year in 2025, I understood, like when I had my drone, it's like, I don't want to bring it, because most places that I would like to bring it to, it doesn't allow me to, you know, fly there. Or then if I would want to get the permission, then it is gonna be a lot of paperwork, and I just don't want to do that. That I rather than just find good photos with my main camera. So get a drone if you feel like you do want to photograph something from above, but don't put all of your money into it, because you will likely not use it as much as you think you will. Then I want to share a big lesson on tripods. If you are investing thousands into your camera gear, then please, please invest some money as well, some good money into your tripod that is holding your precious gear worth of thousands. Because why would you invest thousands into a camera and then you just put like $100 or less than $100 into the tripod that is securing your camera? Doesn't make sense if you ask me. But this is still something what I did. When I started, I was like, okay, I'm hearing I should get a tripod. So let's get a tripod, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. And so I got this tripod, which is probably $70. And guess what? It broke immediately. Thankfully, it didn't like break while I was using the camera. It was just breaking when I was, I think, like unboxing it, or it just wasn't working properly. And I'm thankful that it broke immediately, because had I gone to the field, like, like on a mountain or a fell, or even to like next to a lake, I believe my camera would have been ruined because of that. Because it would have not been as quality and would have broken faster and more likely. Now this tripod that I'll be rocking, while it is a little bit broken, it's been with me for now soon the 9 years. And I feel secure when I have my camera on top of it. Like right now, I have no problem like having the camera there and it's sitting on the tripod. I believe in the tripod. I've spent a lot of money on the tripod, and I would recommend that you do too. If you get a tripod, then please invest money into it. But also be conscious. Do you need a tripod? Because some of you won't need a tripod. I was in the position where, in the end, I did want a tripod, because I wanted to take self-portraits, I wanted to photograph the night sky, and get long exposures, and for these you do need a tripod. But if you aren't into that stuff and you don't want to drag something, with you, because it is always, of course, it adds to the weight that you are carrying, then maybe you don't need a tripod. And it's totally cool to not use a tripod. There's these landscape photographers out there who say you need to always use a tripod. Like you can't take photos without a tripod, and if you have to increase your ISO, it's a crime. But that's nonsense. That I don't bring the tripod if I don't need it. Like most of the time when I'm not going photographing, I don't want to bring it, and I don't bring it because I know that I'm not going to use it unless I would do a self-portrait. It is so much more fun just walking around and without the tripod. And then I just have a bit higher ISO and I'm cool with it. Like my Sony a7 III can handle it. And nowadays you have all kind of denoising tools in the softwares, so you don't need to worry about noise either that much. So if you have really good gear and you do want to make certain type of photos that require a tripod, then make sure to invest into a really good tripod. But if you don't need a tripod and you really don't want a tripod, then don't get one. You can absolutely make amazing photographs without a tripod as well, and you can have a lot of fun. Alright, now you know better what to not waste money on as a photographer, but you still might not know how to get to the next level in your photography skills. If that's you, then make sure to watch this video on the screen right now where I share step by step what I would do if I wanted to improve my photography right now. Leave a like, subscribe, and see you there.